Queer Book Saved My Life, the show where LGBTQ guests discuss the queer books that saved their lives in conversation with the very authors who wrote them. This week, I chat with Father Shannon T.L. Kearns about faith and the future of Christianity through the novel Oranges Are Not the Only Fruit. Plus, Talene Voskuni tells us about her new rom-com, Sorry Bro. I hope you can join us every Sunday at 6 p.m. right here on AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
The Park Tavern in St. Louis Park is your summer destination. The patio is amazing, perfect for you and your friends to grab dinner and drinks. Enjoy a game of cornhole while you indulge in the great food. The full Park Tavern menu is available outside. The Park Tavern also has live music on the patio every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and even some Mondays through the summer. Reservations are highly recommended. And if the weather does turn, the bowling lanes at the Park Tavern are always open and are spectacular. On Louisiana Avenue, north of Highway 7 in St. Louis Park, the perfect summer is waiting for you at the Park Tavern.
The world has changed, our economy has changed, and now more than ever, it's important that your retirement savings is set up to generate income, real money in your bank account month after month while still controlling your principal. And that's what we do. We're Ferguson Financial. We set up people for retirement income. Call us today, 888-429-5569, and check out our retirement income program, Sunday mornings at 9.
Hi, Matt McNeil for Rudy Luther Toyota. You've heard me talk about the Rudy Luther Toyota We Buy program. Now hear from someone who's actually done it, me. Our kids' car, the 2006 Toyota Sienna, served us well for 17 years, but it was finally time to say goodbye. The We Buy program is really simple. I gave them some basic information. We set up an appointment, and after a quick verification, they gave me an estimate and a check, and they made me a generous offer. It was that fast. See for yourself. Try the Rudy Luther Toyota We Buy program at rudyluthertoyota.com.
Hey, Cudahy to all my friends and relatives in four directions. This is Robert Pilot of Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake. I'm here to ask you for your support. Finding honest Native-centered news is not easy. But with your support, we're able to provide accurate information about Standing Rock, Line 3, treaty violations, and COVID-19 in our Native communities. Please visit Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon and donate if you can. That's Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon. Pinigigi, and thank you for your support.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for showers and storms tonight with a low around 66. Friday, more thunderstorms with a high near 85. And Saturday, sunny with a high around 82. If you're craving barbecue, then don't drive too fast or you'll miss Scott Jemama's Hot Barbecue located at 3 West Diamond Lake Road in Minneapolis. Scott Jemama's offers mouth-watering baby back ribs, grilled chicken, and half-pound pulled pork sandwiches. Find their menu and more at scottjemamas.com.
Portions of Native Roots Radio may be pre-recorded.
It's a good day to be indigenous.
Get up, stand up.
They are going to become more brutal.
Couldn't cut, hit me cut again.
Because all the hippies were trying to be Indians anyway.
They're going to become more repressive because it's a matter of dollars and their illusionary concepts of power.
Hey, Victor.
We must live in balance with the earth.
And also with recent happenings at Wounded Knee.
I am awake.
Welcome to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanja Hade. Hey, Cudahy to all my friends and relatives in four directions. You are listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Robert Pilot. Hey, we discuss local and national Native news and events, and as you know, Haley, Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues.
You're absolutely right, Dega. This portion of the show is supported by Native American Community Development Institute in Minneapolis.
Hey, we're going to have Robert Lilligren on, of course, today. This is Thursday, and we'd love to check in with Robert, what's going on. And he's the CEO of Native American Community Development Institute in Minneapolis and the Twin Cities. And then Wendy with our Sacred Animal portion. And then we're going to lose Haley because she's going to see Pink or Blue or something like that.
Red or purple or something. But yeah, no, Alicia Moore, I believe, is Pink's actual real name. So, yes.
I didn't know that, but I love Pink. So have a good time tonight and enjoy.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Hey, before we get to Robert, we want to drop an update from Wisconsin Governor Evers, and then we'll discuss that, and then it'll be Robert Lilligren and Wendy Pilot Day here on Native Roots Radio. Let's take a listen.
Hey there, Native Roots Radio. Governor Tony Evers here with my weekly update. While Wisconsin began this biennium in the best fiscal position in its 175-year statehood, we know employers across the state continue to face significant generational challenges filling available jobs. Earlier this year, I proposed a comprehensive budget plan to address our state's long-standing workforce challenges, supporting working families and maintain our economic momentum. Unfortunately, the Republicans in the legislature rejected many of these efforts. But thanks to my strategic line item vetoes in the budget, I've ensured ample state resources are readily available for legislators to address the most pressing issues facing our state. So this week, I called a special session of the legislature next month on September 20th to complete their work on the budget. My comprehensive workforce plan invests more than $365 million to help prevent our child care industry from collapsing. I'm also proposing to expand paid family and medical leave in Wisconsin for working families. My plan also supports higher education to educate, train, and retain and recruit talented workers, including over $66 million for our University of Wisconsin system and over $40 million for our Wisconsin Technical College system. And my plan targets high-need sectors and industries, including $160 million for solutions to our healthcare workforce shortages and more than $16 million to address the teacher shortage and bolster educator pipelines. The challenges that have plagued our state for generations will continue holding our economy, our families, and our state back if Republicans in the legislature don't take seriously the second chance I'm giving them, and urgently. We must work together in the coming weeks so we can bolster our state's workforce, maintain our economic momentum, and most importantly, do the right thing for Wisconsin. Thanks for listening. Back to you, Robert, and Native Roots Radio.
Hey, Pinigigi Governor. Wow, great update. Robert, welcome to Native Roots Radio. I got a couple questions for you after we just listened to Governor Evers. That was interesting. I did not realize that Wisconsin has line item veto power.
Oh, yeah. It's been used before in the not too distant past. I'm trying to remember what the case was, but it was very surgically used, and I give the governor credit.
Yeah, very interesting, too.
What does that mean, Robert?
Well, as you know, line item, if there's things in the bill, Robert Lilligren, why don't you do
Well, we have two Roberts here.
I know. I should be more specific.
Right.
Robert
So line
L.
item veto. Thank you. Thanks, Wendy. Nice to be with you again. It feels like it's been a while. So line item veto we do not have in Minnesota, but it means that a governor can take one line out of legislation or out of a budget and veto that singular line. And so the entirety of the legislation can go forward absent whatever was line item vetoed. And dang, I'm just racking my brain trying to remember how Governor Evers used it really recently, but it was really elegant and useful. Oh, it was when he didn't he approve education funding for like 400 years or something like that? Yeah, that was a very creative use of his line item veto.
Right. Adding some numbers and changing some numbers and making it 400 years as opposed to 4 years.
Four.
Yeah. That was amazing. Yeah, that was amazing too. And they are having this teacher shortages and things that I guess is all over the country too, but their Republicans aren't helping them at all with this, it sounds like.
Yeah, I have a sense that a lot of teachers will be leaving states like Florida, who are just removing Shakespeare from the curriculum. So I don't think a lot of teachers are going to want to stay in that state. So hopefully it'll benefit states like Wisconsin, Minnesota, others where we're serious about education.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that was great to have an update by the governor, and we have Robert Lilligren, CEO of Native American Community Development Institute, here for our show today. And we were kind of briefing as we were twinning today with our same shirts.
Yeah, I like it. Nice shirt, Robert.
at the four. Oh, hey, thanks, Haley.
Did you notice when we posted that on the Facebook page for Four Sisters Farmers Market, I think the first person to like it was Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan. her whitest sister.
And as everybody knows that listens to the show frequently, Lieutenant Governor sends us a piece too every other week, and we're always excited to listen to what's going on and what she's doing. And yeah, that's we really love Peggy Flanagan here on Native Roots Radio. We haven't talked in a while about some national stuff, and oh my goodness, there's national things going on, Robert, that my head's spinning in a good way, and I don't know, I'm putting tobacco out and burning flat cedar and sage. Let's talk a little bit.
Well, I mean, I've been kind of surprised the last few weeks that we haven't talked about the I word, indictment, and they just keep on coming. And I think it's just so fascinating. It's just unprecedented. No president has been indicted like this, criminally charged, ever. And certainly not now in 3 different cases. And so just watching that come down, watching both the former president and his supporters' responses, but also watching the broader public response, and especially the response from the Republican Party, which is surprisingly mild.
Yeah, really. If you pull up the clips specifically, Robert, from the day after or even the evening of January 6th and what the Republicans were saying and to what they're saying now is night and day.
It is, and that's kind of interesting. And I do credit the people within the Republican Party who are willing to step forward and say, sort of the gig is up. This morning, as I was getting ready, I was thinking of that fairy tale. Do you remember The Emperor Has No Clothes?
Oh, yeah.
And I just kind of keep wondering, waiting for that moment when more people will finally say the emperor has no clothes. But so far, he's far and away the front runner for the Republican nomination for president, and that just floors me. And so we'll see as these cases develop. More are coming, but justice moves slowly. It seems like it was so long ago, the January 6th, where he urged his supporters to storm the Capitol and halt the ratification process of the Electoral College. But justice is coming.
Yes, let's hope so. Wendy's got her fingers crossed. I know she's gotten a little jaded here with the 2 impeachments and all the other things that have happened to him and not happened. But hey, we're with Robert Lilligren, NACDI. I said that right, Wendy? Woo, 1 in a row.
Good job.
And from the Native American Community Development Institute, we're going to come back and talk some more politics that affects us and all and everyone. This is Native Roots Radio.
Stay with us.
Your neighbors are talking about the Blue Line extension, connecting North Minneapolis, Crystal, Robbinsdale, and Brooklyn Park to the light rail transit system.
The Blue Line allows us to actually connect people in real time to this community. Instead of bypassing it, they're going to stop and shop. They're going to stop and play. They're going to stop and work. Blue Line is a connector.
Hear more of this story and others at yourblueline.org.
When we heal from our traumas,
when we face our fears,
let go of our addictions,
when we relearn our values,
when we live our teachings,
respecting our elders,
cherishing and honoring our children,
when we honor and take care of our spirit,
there will be no room left for sexual violence.
Sponsored by the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
Hey, Cudahy to all my friends and relatives in 4 directions. This is Robert Pilot of Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake. I'm here to ask you for your support. Finding honest Native-centered news is not easy. But with your support, we're able to provide accurate information about Standing Rock, Line 3, treaty violations, and COVID-19 in our Native communities. Please visit Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon and donate if you can. That's Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon. Pinigigi, and thank you for your support.
J&S Bean Factory is a Native-owned, community-supported, cozy, artsy coffee shop which offers roasted on-site beans, live music, and baked goods. Relax in the beautiful outside patio. City Pages writes, voted top 10 coffee shops. Tucked into a quiet corner of St. Paul's Highland Park neighborhood, this coffee shop roasts beans on site from the best coffee growing countries in the world. Located at 1518 Randolph Avenue, St. Paul. The good stuff.
This is Leonard Peltier. I am in Coleman 1, U.S. Penitentiary, and I'm listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is supported by the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
Hey, we have a lot of pink energy going on here in Native Roots Radio. Haley's getting ready to go to pink. She's not wearing pink, though, like the Barbie show, but you'll have to send some pictures and let us know, get some selfies and stuff like that. Hey, we're here with Robert Lilligren, and we're checking in here. Our political guru, I like to say. Or maybe I just said it tonight. Yeah, maybe I just said it tonight, but hey, we love talking politics with Robert, and we're talking a little national, and we're talking about the I in indictment that we like but I don't know. He's like the Teflon Don, but he's not really smart enough to be a Don, but it's just amazing.
He is very Teflon, and I remember way back when in 2016, as he started to be positioned as the front runner within the presidential race. And I remember saying to people then, Trump is in no way prepared for the intense scrutiny that he's going to experience if he gets elected president. Actually, I can't say it on the radio, but I said he's no way prepared for the flashlight up his you-know-what that he's going to experience. And it's taken a while, and I think there was a lot of respect and restraint from the legal community while he was president, and respecting the office. And once he left, then the true process started. And so now we're seeing that come to fruition. And so we'll see if he can remain Teflon through this. But I was just trying to count up the charges, and of course there's still more charges pending in Georgia, but it's some ridiculously high number. And
I heard 75. I heard 75
something like 70. Yeah. And so it's hard to figure how someone could dodge that many charges. And
one of the things he says, Robert, is that and it's funny because he's correct. He says he's in a two-tier judicial system here, and I agree, because if this was anybody else, they'd be in jail right now.
Right, but I think the former president's point when he says two-tier is that he's in the lower tier, and somehow he's being more attacked. But of course, we all know we have a multi-tiered judicial system, and a few times I've been part of these surveys or task forces or groups around trying to improve Native people's satisfaction with outcomes in court. And not surprisingly, with so many statistics like this, Native people are least satisfied of any demographic group with their court outcomes, and so and their court experiences. And so, if we talk about a multi-tiered judicial system, I think we have a very good perspective on that from our community, probably better than Trump's.
Well, one of the things that they're talking about too recently in the news is about how he sent those fake electors, and I'm glad that's coming up, because I'm telling you, that was a mind-blowing. Everyone knew it was going on, and then I remember, I don't even know what state it was, but they shooed them away. They wouldn't let them come in and pretend that they were the electoral people.
Well, a lot of the swing states. Oh yeah, I remember it very well. It was just shocking while it was happening. And now you see as these fake electors get charged, sometimes with felonies. That I didn't know it was against the law, and I don't know how that really holds water as a defense. Ignorance of the law, I don't think, is a defense, and these people should be criminally charged. And so, and if anything else, to deter it so it doesn't happen again. Elections. It's the first time really that I can remember, and maybe ever, that there was such a successful and deliberate attempt to disrupt the peaceful transference of power, which is a cornerstone of our democracy, right? And so that
Yeah.
wasn't very peaceful on January 6th.
Well, and also too, as you were saying that, I was thinking, we came really close, of that not of it being overturned or pretended it didn't happen. We came very close, right?
Scary close in that, and it did get deferred by only a few hours. Hats off to Congress for reconvening, within that same day. But I was working from home like we do these days, and I had the TV in, and I was just kind of half paying attention. Finally, I just had to shut down my computer, and I was glued to the television. I just couldn't believe what was happening. And you have these broadcasters, these newscasters that were saying, "Oh, and the protesters are entering." And then I'm just screaming at my TV, like, "They're not protesters, they're insurrectionists, they're treasonous. Stop talking about them like they're just protesting." And it took a couple hours for the TV land language to evolve into calling them what they really were.
Well, I don't know what Wendy and I were watching. We were watching on the computer, and I'm not sure if it was a Facebook link or whatever. And we were totally blown away. And they just, we were watching, I think just before the radio show that we were going on, it was like 3 or 4. And we were watching the Capitol get just trashed. I was in such denial, Robert. I saw on Facebook and Instagram and all these social media posts of caravans going to Washington, and I'm going, there's nothing gonna happen. This is and it's like, oh, was I wrong?
Right. Same here. Who knew? I mean, there was plenty of planning, as we're learning now. This was very coordinated. We know that the president was generating the interest in doing this, and we've seen buses go to Washington before, right, for a lot of reasons. And who thought that they were going to be actual violent insurrectionists when they got there? Well, some people thought it, some people knew, but yeah, it was beyond belief. And now, it takes a long time for justice to, things to wind through the justice system. Now they're all coming to a head, and thank goodness. But one of the things that makes me uncomfortable is I feel like it puts people like us in the position to defend the federal government when, the federal government hasn't always been so nice to Native people. But at least there's an understandable framework and there's pathways to justice. And so these insurrectionists just wanted to tear it all down, and a lot of things that are protecting us would be torn down with that as well.
Really good points. They just reported that they were getting Trump's tweets from that day for the next 24 hours from Twitter. That's
right.
Well,
yeah, his tweets, his draft tweets, and his direct messages as well. So they're getting it all from Twitter, and Twitter tried to obstruct that search warrant. They tried to not get it. They got charged $350,000 fine for obstructing, and they wanted to inform Trump that this was happening, which of course would be a huge violation of the law. So what is it called now? I closed my Twitter account when Elon Musk took over and got so weird. So I'm not on Twitter anymore, on X anymore, but that's collusion.
Yeah. Oh, totally. And just mind blowing. Wendy, your thoughts when we were watching that? That was crazy.
I'm just happy now that they were able to arrest so many people, and they were able to identify them from, the media and the selfies and the television broadcast. They were able to zoom in and find these people, know who they are, where they come from. I mean, a lot of these people lost their jobs because they were found out, and so I'm just glad. I wish that there were more, of course, but I mean, I'm glad that they got a lot of them.
We had a couple, Robert, from Minnesota, I saw, that were going through court.
Yeah, a father-son set, and they and I love, Wendy, to your point, how it was crowdsourced, right? Regular people stepped up and started working to identify these people so successfully. And I'm trying to remember, there's a name for that. There's a sort of a nickname. It escapes me. mind right now, but for these people who dedicated a lot of their time and effort in identifying the insurrectionists and leading to their prosecution. So thank you to the people who did that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
definitely.
The other thing that really confuses me is that the insurrectionists went after the police, the
Right.
Capitol Police, and the police are
Right.
coming forward saying that, we were abused, we were hit with all this kind
Heart
of
attacks,
stuff,
death.
and
Heart
but
attacks, suicides.
majority of the police in the United States, the policemen and women, the ones that I know, are Republicans and Trump supporters. So that I
Right.
don't really understand.
Well, I think that's such a good point, Wendy. And really, if you look at sort of the national political landscape, I think most people would say the Republican Party paints itself as the law and order party, and now you have the lead, Trump, and all these others completely disregarding law enforcement, the court system, all of these tools. And so, I try not to presume bad intentions, but it's really hard to not consider people who think of themselves as law and order, who have such now disdain for the process that they have any moral solid ground to stand on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Reliving this, it's just been an insane last 3 years when we talk about COVID,
Mhm.
George Floyd, the insurrection. I mean, this is one for the history books, and we know, as we were talking earlier, Robert, a lot of the states probably won't have this in their history books.
Right. There are history books in the future, right?
Exactly. Hey, this is Native Roots Radio, and Haley's on her way to Pink, and we're talking to Robert Lilligren, and we'll be right back after this short minute.
Stay with us.
J&S Bean Factory is a native-owned, community-supported, cozy, artsy coffee shop which offers roasted on-site beans, live music, and baked goods. Relax in the beautiful outside patio. City Pages writes, voted top 10 coffee shops. Tucked into a quiet corner of St. Paul's Highland Park neighborhood, this coffee shop roasts beans on-site from the best coffee-growing countries in the world. Located at 1518 Randolph Avenue, St. Paul. The good stuff.
Attention art enthusiasts, experience Laura Youngbird's Indie Wisigindum, My Heart Hurts, a solo exhibition by Laura Youngbird presented by All My Relations Arts this summer. All My Relations Arts aims to foster connections between contemporary American Indian artists, preceding generations, diverse audiences, and the vitality of the American Indian cultural corridor. Laura Youngbird is a talented artist from the Minnesota Chippewa Grand Portage Band that uses the dress as a metaphor to address social issues, injustices, and biases. Through mixed media combining drawing, painting, and prints, Laura explores the dress as a powerful symbol in her work, revealing layers of meaning. Her series examines mixed emotions and themes like common threads, loose ends, and vulnerability. And you could see Laura Youngbird's Inde Wisigindum, My Heart Hurts, all summer through September 9th at All My Relations Arts in Minneapolis. Plan your visit and let the moving art speak to your heart. More information at allmyrelationsarts.org.
Hey AM 950 listeners, my name is JP Debragosian, and I host This Queer Book Saved My Life, the show where LGBTQ guests discuss the queer books that saved their lives in conversation with the very authors who wrote them. This week I chat with Father Shannon T.L. Kearns about faith and the future of Christianity through the novel Oranges Are Not the Only Fruit. Plus, Talene Voskuni tells us about her new rom-com, Sorry Bro. I hope you can join us every Sunday at 6 p.m. right here on AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
Be a vaccinative. It's time to come together and talk about the urgent need to stay up to date on COVID-19 vaccinations to protect our heritage, our loved ones, and our future. Throughout history, we have always faced challenges, and today we must protect our culture and loved ones. This is our opportunity to ensure that our tribal gatherings once again resound with joy and celebration, where the echoes of our ancestors guide our steps. It's a chance to care for our elders, cherishing their wisdom and stories for generations to come. COVID-19 vaccines are safe and effective. Let us unite, resilient as ever, and show the world the strength of the Native American community. Together, We shape a future where our traditions thrive, our children learn from our ancestors, and our people flourish once more. So be a vaccinative and learn more about staying up to date with your COVID vaccinations at health.state.mn.us. That's health.state.mn.us. This message is brought to you in partnership with the Minnesota Department of Health.
Metro Transit is proud to offer the free use of IRA for transit trips, an app that connects blind and low vision customers to a live agent for navigation assistance. IRA can help you determine your location, read schedules, find your next transfer, navigate stations and platforms, and general trip planning, and is now available in Spanish. Learn more and download the app at AIRA.io. That's AIRA.io.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for showers and storms tonight with a low around 66. Friday, more thunderstorms with a high near 85. And Saturday, sunny with a high around 82. Scotch Mama's offers a huge taste out of a little place. Besides their delicious barbecue, they have potato salad, spicy baked beans, twice baked potatoes, and delicious desserts. Located at 3 West Diamond Lake Road near the intersection of Nicollet Avenue and West Diamond Lake Road in Minneapolis. Find their menu and more at scotchamamas.com.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is brought to you by the Native American Community Development Institute in Minneapolis, honoring health and tradition.
Hey, is that the Community Development Institute?
It is.
Well, I'm wearing the shirt right
I know
now.
you are. NACDI.
Yeah,
We were
thank
just
you.
talking to Robert Lilligren.
Yeah, and I think Robert Lilligren might have went to the Pink concert too, because he's not on right now.
Well, have fun at Pink, and I wish I was going there. But Pink and Brandy Carlisle were around together
in New York.
Yeah, they were doing a lot of concerts together in honor of who just passed away.
Robbie Robertson?
Sinead O'Connor. Yeah, in honor of Sinead O'Connor. So, yeah, I was wishing that I would have caught one of those, but I didn't. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Brandy Carlisle will be at the fair, and maybe what we can do too while we're waiting, because Wendy, you have a timed out beautiful segment. Oh, Robert left.
Okay.
He thought he was done.
Oh, okay. Well, that's okay. I want to just tell everybody, honestly, today I spent a lot of time outside today. And as a lot of people know, we got rid of our concrete jungle, AKA our lawn. And we have a prairie garden now in the front. And I have to tell you, yesterday I saw 6 monarch butterflies out there. A ton of bees. The birds are just flying around, and it feels like they're in like an oasis. They're, all the other lawns around our house are, just cut really nice, edged, perfectly green, no weeds at all, and they're just perfect. And you don't see any wildlife at all around those, and they're all flying around our front and backyard, because we have a lot going on in the backyard as well. And it just makes me so happy. Like, I just sat here for like half an hour just watching it, and it's just mesmerizing, really, and it's just beautiful. And I just hope that a lot of other people out there, it doesn't have to be your whole lawn. It could be just a small area where you plant pollinator plants and prairie plants for the wildlife. So I was told that in a couple of years, Robert, we might even be able to see some frogs here.
Yeah, I remember that. I was amazed.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what we have seen that I've never seen in our yard or around here is they jump caterpillars, or not
grasshoppers.
Thank you.
Really? I haven't seen a grasshopper.
I did.
Here's the thing, though, too.
Before they did our roof.
Yeah. So
Hey, this is fun. This is kind of like our old radio show, Pilot's Progressive Party.
Well, I posted a little video on Facebook of the front yard and the monarchs. You could see the monarchs flying around. And we have a lot of plants out there, but I am ignorant. I am sorry to say I don't know the names of any of the plants that are out there. I couldn't even tell you what they were. But one of our friends and listeners, Alice,
Yes.
said, "Oh, you have mullein. You have mullein, Mullein, in your yard." And I was like, "Which one is mullein?" So she messaged me with a picture of it and explained what it was. And I was like, "Oh my
Yeah.
God, I really have to know what these plants are. I have them in my yard. I should know what they are." But anyway, she said that a lot of Native American people used to use mullein, and it's a plant. It's very tall. Like the ones that we have in our yard are way taller than you. They're far over
Yeah.
6 feet tall.
I've seen them around the neighborhood, and they're
They're little, right? I don't know. We have like mutant mullein plants in the
How did that
front.
happen?
I don't know. I have no idea. But anyway, they have furry leaves. They're very tall, and the tops are very kind of pointy, and they have a lot of yellow leaves on it. A lot of yellow flowers. But it's used as like tea.
Yeah.
And as like an anti-inflammatory, and used for like your lungs.
I need that. So
Anti-inflammatory
can you
for
make
your
me some of that
lungs.
tonight?
Yeah, but I was reading that you have to be careful because it also could be toxic if you don't use it, the right way. So
Right.
I mean,
That was like
you just can't like pull a leaf off of it, dry it, make tea out of it, and you have to know what you're doing.
right. And
Yeah.
do you remember when COVID first hit? And I really wanted. And when we talk about COVID, it's so foreign because for the longest time, again, there was no. I want to say antidote, but there was no vaccine.
Yeah.
And I did some flat cedar tea, and that's the same thing with that. You really have to know what you're doing in order to, one, have the tea work for you, but also not poison yourself.
Exactly. You don't want to poison yourself, or get high inadvertently, or
accidentally.
Yeah, so it just makes me happy when I go out there and I see wildlife in our yard, and we live in the cities. So it's just, we see all kinds of different birds, and I can't even tell you the bird feeder that we have out front. I fill it like, every day. So there's lots and lots of birds. God bless you, Robert. So I want to tell everybody, while Robert Lilligren was on and we were talking, Wanda, our little dog Wanda, is kind of a little stinker, and she doesn't like to get her hair cut. Like, she fights me to no end.
Yeah.
But she was just laying on a chair next to me, and
Which she does.
which she does on every show when I'm here.
Yeah.
She's sitting here on the chair, and I was able to cut her hair. Now, those of you watching on Facebook, I'm going to hold up all the hair that I cut, and it's quite a bit.
Wait a minute. Let me isolate your camera
And
there.
she just stood there. This is all Wanda's hair.
That could be a sweet toupee for me.
But you know what I read somewhere? Those they're called suet blocks that you give to the birds, and they come in like a little square, like a little square cage, and you put the suet in. I have one of those, and people put their cat and dog hair in there. And the birds come and take it and use it for their nests.
Well,
So I'm going to do
I
that.
hope the voodoo people aren't around.
Well, I'm going to do it because
I
don't want. I'm just not going to throw her hair away when somebody else could make good use out of it.
A voodoo dog.
That would be so cute to see, like our squirrels and our birds in the back making a nest
little
with
sideburns.
Wands. What kind of glue would they use? I don't know.
They would use sap from the tree.
They would use sap from the tree and make little toupees. That's hilarious.
Little mustaches.
Wanda has black hair, so it would be little. They would look
It would pop.
like little Italians, little Italian birds,
Little Goombas.
little Goomba birds. Robert's cracking himself up. That's pretty funny, though. It's very imaginative. I hope you're taking note of the time here, because I have no idea how much time we have left.
I do. We got a long
I do.
time.
We have a long time. We have like 3 more minutes.
We're losing customers, or
are
listeners, I should say.
They're shutting off as we speak here.
They went, wow, they remember when they used to talk about really important issues.
I know.
We already did the first half. We had the governor of Wisconsin on, and Robert Lilligren, who really has been a high-powered political person. I know he's
Mhm.
really humble about that, but he's so well connected and was, a glass ceiling breaker, first
Mhm.
Native American city council member in Minneapolis,
Yeah, he was
first
a city council
openly
member for 12 years in Minneapolis. That's a
and
long time.
first openly gay
Mhm.
city council member
Yep.
also.
Yeah, it's great. He's a great guy. He does great work. He's still really connected. People
Yeah.
really look up to him. He's well respected.
Yep.
And that's why we have him on Native Roots Radio.
And now it's the rest of the show is the clown show
The
with
clown- just
Wendy
Robert
and Robert
I. No,
looking
we
at
have
each
nothing
other.
prepared.
Oh,
Robert
you do.
Lilligren, why did you leave us?
Right. He had he thought he was only going to be on for 2 segments,
Oh,
which I think I
okay.
told him, but
Yeah.
I guess I didn't count the first segment when in my mind.
Oh, I see. Sure.
But
He
he's
was only on a short time, but
Right.
yeah, he does great work.
He's
But,
got stuff going
yeah, I
on.
mean, if the Native American Community Development Center does a lot of work. And Robert, you were at Four Sisters
Yes,
today.
yes.
And the Four Sisters is a little, every week on Thursday, they're on Franklin Avenue, and they have like all kinds of stuff there, art, jewelry, vegetables.
Yeah.
And you could go there and check out their stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like a little.
It is a market.
It's like it's a market.
I
I
want to
was
say
going to say
market.
flea market. It's not a flea market. It's a
They-
market.
Well,
Native American
I always get
stuff.
confused saying, what is it? Not a food market. It's more of a market.
Mhm.
Four Sisters
Yeah, they have a
Market.
little bit of everything.
Yeah.
It's really great.
And plus inside, as you know, the coffee shop, and then
Mhm.
inside that,
It's the art.
yeah, and there's a great, can you pronounce the name of the art?
Powwow grounds.
No, the name of the art,
Mm-mm.
I just heard you pronounce it in the commercial.
Oh, well, that was with practice. And
And with you and Brett going over it. Yeah.
I can't
the
say it right
magic,
now.
the magic of commercials and
Mhm.
editing.
I was just
I sound
thinking-
coherent when
I was
when these,
just
when these
thinking right
ads
now,
play.
I was looking at Wanda's hair, and it kind of matches yours. So maybe we can get some glue and make you a toupee.
Easy. This is a lot of hard thinking up here going on.
Yeah.
Jeez. All right. Hey, so to give us a little warm up of what we're going
Mhm.
to talk about our sacred animals here. In
Well,
a
I'm going to be
minute.
talking a little bit about President Biden signing the document for a monumental win for tribes, wildlife, and water at the Grand Canyon. So I'm going to be talking about that. That's really exciting news because we really have to preserve these places.
Mhm.
We can't have mining there,
Right.
drilling there, pipelines there.
Right.
For any reason, we need to keep these beautiful, pristine places for
Right.
future generations. So we really have to do that. And I'm really happy that he did that. So I'm going to be talking about that when we come back.
Well,
and
that's
it's really,
awesome.
yeah, some good news and a little bit of bad news. Yeah.
Oh, well, we
Yeah.
had our fun there for
It's
10
not,
minutes.
the fun is
here.
over, Robert.
Wow.
The fun is over.
Well, let me try that
We have to
toupee
come
on
to
before we.
reality. I should show everybody the toupee. It's really quite, look at it. It could be,
Okay, for people watching, yeah, that's a lot of hair, and
it is a lot of hair. But I'm going to put Wanda's hair in that little Seward cage and hang it outside and see who wants it and take it.
all right. Hey, you're listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and we'll be right back after this short break.
Stay with us.
Oh. Minnesota has the only original wolf population in the continental United States.
And 80% of Minnesotans believe the wolf should be protected.
Howling for Wolves is asking Minnesotans to respect our true wildlife manager, the wolf.
Their survival is critical to our ecosystems, our communities, and even our economy.
As highly intelligent animals with strong social bonds, Minnesota wolves deserve to be protected and admired.
Learn more at howlingforwolves.org. Let's live and let howl.
Metro Transit is proud to offer the free use of IRA for transit trips, an app that connects blind and low vision customers to a live agent for navigation assistance. IRA can help you determine your location, read schedules, find your next transfer, navigate stations and platforms, and general trip planning, and is now available in Spanish. Learn more and download the app at aira.io. That's aira.io.
As we emerge from the shadows of the pandemic, let us celebrate our resilience and embrace the path to a brighter future. While the COVID-19 emergency declaration may be over, our commitment to safety remains stronger than ever. We invite you to stand tall and protect what matters most, our health and the well-being of our loved ones and elders. The power to keep our community safe lies within each one of us. It's important to remember the basics when you're with someone who might be at risk of COVID complications. Wear your mask, wash your hands often, and take an at-home COVID test if you have any symptoms. We are a strong and interconnected community, and together we'll emerge from this challenge stronger than ever. Stay safe, stay healthy, and keep the spirit of our Native American culture thriving. Find more tips on continuing to be safe at health.state.mn.us. That's health.state.mn.us.
This message is brought to you in partnership with the Minnesota Department of Health.
Hi, this is Representative Sharice Davids from Kansas. I'm Ho Chunk, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is brought to you by Howling for Wolves, protecting wolves for future generations. Woo, woo, woo.
Woo-hoo. Hey, cool. Hey, this is Native Roots Radio, and we're in the last segment of our groovy show today. We want to just thank again, before I forget, is Governor Evers for the great state of Wisconsin giving us an update, and also Robert Lilligren stopping in. And now we're going to have Wendy with our Sacred Animals section that we've had for over 7 years, and I've learned so much, and sounds like you have an update. Welcome, Wendy.
Yeah, thanks everybody. Hi, my name is Hanaji Hihani. That means cares for them. I was given that name by my Dega Curtis. Curtis goes by Mashke Hanajinga, which means walks on white clouds. I'm a humane policy volunteer leader for the Humane Society of the United States, and I work on animal issues at the local and state level. And it's always my pleasure to do that. And actually, Robert, you sent me this article, so I appreciate that. And this is from the Center for Biological Diversity, and it's actually dated today, Thursday, August 10th, and it was updated at 2:57 p.m. So really fresh off the press. So heeding the call of the Grand Canyon Tribal Coalition and the Center for Biological Diversity, President Biden just designated, I'm going to try to say this properly, the Ba-Nawajo Ikuji ancestral footprints of the Grand Canyon National Monument, capping 15 years of work to protect its iconic place from new uranium mining. So no more uranium mining. The historic move forever safeguards almost 1 million acres. Yeah, surrounding Grand Canyon National Park. Mm-hmm. Besides honoring sacred indigenous landscapes, the new monument will help endangered species like California condors, Mexican spotted owls, and humpback chubs. The name means where tribes roam. And this is from the Center of Biological Diversity. Mm-hmm. And you know what? A lot of people went online and wanted this and made signatures. So this is a really important thing. So I want to thank President Biden for doing that. And that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. The center also just sued the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service for denying Endangered Species Act protection for the gopher tortoises across most of their range. The agency left these imperiled reptiles on a collision course with extinction, refusing to give them federal safeguards in Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, oh my goodness, and most of Alabama, despite the service's own protections.
that nearly 3/4 of their population will disappear over the next 80 years. These cool tortoises have shovel-like front legs and strong back legs to help them dig intricate burrows just like gophers. So that's why they got their name. Their loss would harm more than 360 other southeast species that share their burrow home. So I'm really glad that that's happening also. Also, there's following a center lawsuit this week. There's protection now for 6,500 square miles of habitat for Caribbean corals. We need our corals, so that's also perfect. The one thing I wanted to, that I was really interested in reading about were cyanide bombs.
Huh.
Have you heard of cyanide
No,
bombs?
no.
Okay, so cyanide bombs must be banned. So by Biological Diversity, the organization, is working to ban these cyanide bombs. So I was like, I really didn't know what they were, but they are used in the Federal Wildlife Service. So I went on Biological Diversity website here, and it tells you about cyanide bombs. So they're M44s. That's what they're called. Yeah. And for the past century, a federal program called Wildlife Services, part of the U.S. Department of Agriculture, has been slaughtering wildlife deemed undesirable by the agribusiness. By big ag, right? Yep. They're usually animals like wolves, coyotes, beavers, and bears. But the program also kills creatures it does not mean to, like family dogs and endangered wildlife. M44s or cyanide bombs are one of the most horrifying methods the program uses for its indiscriminate killing. These inhumane traps spray sodium cyanide into the faces of unsuspected wildlife lured by sweet scented bait. Any creature or person who pulls on the bait trigger can suffer torturous poisoning followed by a slow agonizing death or severe energy. So I kind of looked at these things, and they are like these tube-like things. I don't know how long they are, but they're not very long. Maybe the size of bigger than your hand. So they're like a tube, and they have a point at the bottom. They're shoved in the ground, and they're spring loaded. They're spring loaded, and on the top is that poison. The poison is on the top, and what they do is they also put bait material on the top of this trigger, right? And a wolf or an animal can come and bite the bait and pull it. And as soon as it's pulled, that's when that cyanide poisoning shoots out. It sprays, and the cyanide poisoning can cause internal bleeding, seizures, lung failure, or death. And they're still using these around. Isn't this horrible?
Wow.
So you can write to the Biological Diversity. You could find them, Center for Biological Diversity. And they're a really great organization that does a lot of work to save, these animals that are really, getting hurt by a lot of these terrible things. They also launched a suit this week over Montana wolf pelt export program that could hurt endangered Canadian lynx. Yeah, so they do a lot of work, and I'm really happy that you sent me this article, and I'm going to be reading a lot more about what they do and all the great stuff that they're doing to protect our animals, not only in the United States, but like I said before, the Caribbean corals, which are really, we really need those for the ocean's health, right? For oxygen, for protection for habitat. Yeah, exactly. So we really want to do that. The other thing I want to just bring up that was kind of disturbing to me that I watched on the news the other day was people letting balloons go in the air, right? Balloons, the mylar balloons, the latex balloons with the strings, and they're, it's really sad. Somebody dies, and people want to honor them, and they're honoring them by
releasing balloons in the air, and the balloons, once they go up, they come down. They go into the oceans, they strangle wildlife. They're, it's just, I just wish that was something that could be banned. Like, we can't use that because it's washing up on our ocean shores. Wildlife is getting tangled up in them. The fish and the whales are eating the balloons because they mimic jellyfish and other fish that are in the ocean. So I don't know. Maybe I could work on something like that. Just get balloons to be banned.
Well,
And,
it's something, I think, again, Wendy, a really good point about that. I think if people thought it through or knew, I mean, I just don't think people really realize how detrimental it is to animals eating it and dying.
Exactly. I know. And it's just, they're sad, and they just want something to go to heaven, and they believe that the balloons are going to, reach the person in heaven, and it's a memorial to them. But
yeah, exactly.
Really
Hey,
not.
like the old days here, we're cracking each other up. This has been Native Roots Radio. We're still here. We are the 7th generation. If you're listening to the show, you're part of the resistance.
Free Leonard Peltier.
We'll be back tomorrow.
Hey, Twin Cities, it's Latunji from Latunji's Palette. Get ready for